Greetings and welcome to A Sip of Inspiration.
Every moment in your life is filled with all the opportunities that life has to offer.
My name is Stephanie Wilson-Coleman.
You see, life is a canvas, and you decide to color. What colors will you choose for your life today?
Sweetest lyrics that I ever heard. There's a message in the songs of birds. Tomorrow is another day. Living is the
Greetings and welcome to A Sip of Inspiration. My name is Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, and I am your host for tonight's show. Tonight's topic is From the Cradle to the Prison. As you guys who've watched me over the years and followed me through my writings know that I constantly talk about that we are responsible for the kinds of lives that we create, that we are totally responsible for the energy that we bring on earth. We're responsible for our thoughts, we're responsible for our actions, we're responsible for our words. Prior to this show, I looked over some dismal statistics. The barrier to success of African Americans lie in high school graduation. We are now dropping out at the rate of 42.6%. So if we're dropping out of high school, I ask, who's going to college? Also, one of the barriers to success is poor credit. It seems that goods cost us more. However, we tend to have the inability to save what we need to save. And then there is the prison record. As we all know, it is incredibly difficult to find a good job or to find any job if you have a prison record. However, I don't mean for this topic to be dismal, because I do believe that in everything that you do control your destiny, and no matter what the odds look like, you can actually make sure that you are successful. Now, joining me tonight in today's special topic is Anthony Lowery. Now, we've had Anthony here with this show for a lot of times before, and this is not our first conversation about prisons or ex-offenders. Now, Anthony is with the Safer Foundation, and it's the Safer Foundation. Could you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Okay, thanks, Stephanie, again, for the opportunity to come and talk to you. And again, we really appreciate the opportunity to engage in the conversation. I'm the Director of Policy and Advocacy at Safer Foundation. Safer Foundation has been in existence since 1972. We have a 38-year history of providing educational and employment services for people with criminal records, exclusively for people with criminal records. In 1991, we started our work with policy and advocacy after hearing the cries of thousands of our clients who we provided services to who could not get jobs because of the criminal records. So the policy work that we do is under a focus of removing barriers to employment for people with criminal records. And that is a great topic and great stress in our communities today. National Employment Law Project recently came out with a report that stated that 65 million people need not apply, saying that 65 million people in the United States have a criminal history record. And those startling numbers are really amazing. But if you look at minority communities, the disproportionate number of African American males in some communities with criminal records are in excess of 70%.
Okay, also joining us tonight is attorney Andre M. Grant. Now, this is my first time actually meeting Attorney Grant, and he was very gracious to clear his calendar and his busy schedule to join us tonight. And he has a very interesting background. As a matter of fact, I've just found out that you are the attorney for the famous Ryan Harris case.
That's correct. I was one of the attorneys.
That's right, part of the Chicago Dream Team, I understand.
Rumor has it.
Rumor has it.
Rumor has it.
I don't know. Your record seems to speak for itself.
Well, I'm blessed. God got his hand on me, and I love my people, and I love my community, and I love what I do, which is defending people who have been accused of crimes and filing lawsuits, challenging, trying to hold the police accountable for things that they don't do right. But other than that, I'm very blessed, Stephanie, and honored to be here with you today.
Thank you very much. We have a special guest also joining me via telephone, because he's going to be calling and talking to us via telephone. We're going to have to hold the calls for the show for about the first 15 or 20 minutes. So those of you who are viewing the show, I want you to jot down your questions, because we promise we will answer each and every one of them. So joining me via telephone is the Honorable Danny Davis, who's a US Congressman. Are you there, Congressman Davis?
Yes, I am. I am delighted to be here, and I'm delighted to be with all of you. especially the very renowned panelists or group that you've got. So it's always a pleasure.
Thank you very much. We understand that you're in session, so you've taken out time to make a special effort to be with us tonight. And we wanted to talk about Cradle to Prison. And I know that you've authored the Second Chance Act for adult and juvenile offender reentry. And reentry is a really hot topic now because of the numbers, the sheer numbers of individuals who are being let out of the prisons now with no training, with no housing, with no jobs.
I've got a little bit of a problem. We've got some music that is also coming through with us. And so I've got a combination of things going. The music is now gone.
Okay.
and now I can hear you. But you know, all of these things are important. And of course, the numbers are astounding. And I think the numbers are so astounding because, one, our criminal justice system still operates in many instances like a just us system as opposed to a justice system. I mean, when you go to traffic court, when you go down to 26 in California, you go to some other places, and oftentimes all you kind of see is just us. That is just poor people, just African Americans, just Latinos, and just a few of other kinds of people. And so we first must try and correct that. Secondly, we've got to try and make sure that we improve the quality of life across the board for individuals. I mean, when people grow up and they can't read, they can't function, they can't write, they can't understand, it's not unusual to expect that 46% of them would be dropping out of school. Or if they don't get the kind of direction that tells them how important education is. I mean, I came across a book last week that a woman named B.J. Burnham had written, and I was in D.C. at a meeting, and she actually performed and had a little skit that she did with the book. The title of the book is Willie Lee. And the two things that she said Willie Lee wanted to do, one was learn to read, and the other was to be free. And of course, this was during slavery, in which the story was told. And I vowed to myself that I was going to try and take that book to the Chicago public school system and try and get somebody to put it in the curriculum, because it was the most inspirational little story that I think African American boys especially could relate to. So if you don't learn early in life to compete effectively with others, chances are you're going to be in real trouble. And I think that's where we are.
Congressman, I think we need, right now in this day and age, we still need those two things. We need to learn to read, and we need to learn to be free. One, as the Congressman pointed out, one of the biggest challenges that we are facing is that there's not a great enough emphasis in our community on the power of education, not just formal education, but the power of it, the ability to understand that the educational system in and of itself is not going to educate you. Now, you go through it, but it's not designed. We have to be a part of our children's education. We have to be workers with the educational system and making it happen. And when it comes to young boys, why do we, we talked about the statistics, the 43% dropout rates. Well, Jawanza Kajufu, a very long time ago, wrote a series of books called Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys, and how we lose these young men, not in high school, we actually lose them in grade school. We lose them early on, that you see this brilliance in young black boys early on, and by the time they get to 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, that genius is somehow gone. They're not interested in education anymore, and we know that there's a direct relationship between success in school, or the lack of success in school, and failure in society.
paying attention to what Dr. Kunjufu teaches and reading his books, he'd be a millionaire, and so many people would be educated.